Good afternoon and welcome to another episode of the Press Box. My name is Brian Carson and I'm here with my co-host Kenny V, Kenny Varner. How you doing, Kenny?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Not too bad, not too bad. We're one day away from can you believe it's week 6 already of the high school football season?
Tell you what, this season has blown by quick.
I can't believe it. It's just absolutely crazy. You know, when you get older, time just kind of goes too fast.
Oh, it does. It does.
It's like Einstein's relativity. Now I know what he meant by it because when you're young, you think everything's so slow, you want to like hurry up and grow up.
Hmm.
And then when you get to a certain age, it's like, oh my God, please stop. Please stop.
At least slow
Stop going so fast. But we
down.
are in week 6, and we're going to kick this off like we always do. Uh, well, like we've been doing. We were going to review last week's games and then talk about this week's. And we'll start where we always start with the Mifflin County Huskies. 4-1, tied their best start since 2013. If they win this week, which we'll get into in a minute, it will they will have the best start in program history. Uh, a little bit off their game last week against Palmyra. I covered it, and I know you watched it on the stream. Mifflin County with 4 turnovers, and just they didn't have a lot of penalties, but it just seemed like they just couldn't get the offense in gear.
Yeah, they seem to drive the ball down the field. It's just in big moments they happen to have a turnover, and the defense was able to help them out quite a bit. But if you're going to have an off game, you know, get your turnovers out of the way this game, and then focus for the next one and get out with the win like they did.
Absolutely. I mean, and you brought it up. The defense was absolutely incredible in that game. Uh, there was 4 times Palmyra got into Mifflin County territory deep, and twice they were in the red zone and came away with nothing. And,
Very.
and, and the Mifflin County D forced turnovers. Mifflin County had 4, but Palmyra had 5 turnovers, and it was just great defensive calls by Steve Himes, the defensive coordinator.
Well, you have a good defense when you come out, winning with 4 turnovers. That's usually that doesn't happen normally in high school football. Um, yeah, the defense has been basically locked down on their opponents, ready to go, and Isaac Wilson and was quite the
Yeah, he was all around, man. He had this my stats for the game. He had 3 catches for 90 yards and a touchdown, 2 interceptions. Deacon Schaefer for the I believe it's the 5th straight game topped the 100-yard mark.
Mhm.
He's averaging 111 yards a game. He's got 557 on the season. He's got a chance to pass. I mean, to be only the second 1,000-yard rusher in Husky history. We mentioned that last night with Dave Berman. Heath Hidley had 1,355 yards, and Deacon with 557. If he keeps getting those 100-yard games, he's going to break 1,000.
Well, and Deacon's getting them the hard way too, right up the middle. He's
Yeah,
pounding it, and his offensive line. Oh man, kudos to them. The big guys up front. They've been
yeah. The offensive line's been amazing. Do you know last year Schaefer led them in rushing, and I think he had 158 yards
wow.
the whole season.
Mm.
This line, both sides of the line, have been incredible, and it's just something about we knew last year because former coach Scott Seckler said these guys are young, they got to learn and grow, and it seems like they really have
Mm-hmm.
in this offense. And the air raid, and the offensive line is really it's blowing open holes uh, for Schaefer and Landon Eichhorn at quarterback. Wow, 8 touchdowns already in the season. One more and he'll pass Noah Wright, as Berman said last night, for most touchdown passes in a season, and he's going to do that. So they got 3 nice skill possession guys, good offensive and defensive lines. Some of the credit goes to a buddy of ours, Isaiah Reed, is helping coach the defensive line. And what are your thoughts on how both sides of the line have been?
Oh, I'm very impressed with him. I was to go back a game before this, whenever they played it down against Lower Dolphin. The time that Landon Eichhorn was given by his blockers, he had like 4 seconds to get the ball out into a receiver, and then they turn around and they blow open holes for Deacon. I'll tell you what, Isaiah Reed has things going with that line, and the greatest thing and most important thing is the kids have bought into the system. They follow it. And it's bringing out great results.
And the good thing, and this, how things have changed, because I think it's because they were young, a little bit young last year. Last year, this Palmyra game, they'd have lost. Don't you think?
I think so. Yeah.
Whenever adversity would strike last year, there was always a time, even when they were playing good, okay, there's going to be a quarter or something where they fall apart.
Mm-hmm.
And this year, that's what winners do. They fought off. Palmyra was game. You got to give them credit. But they forced 5 turnovers and stopped them 4 times in their territory, and heck of a job.
Mm-hmm. And if you talk to some of the legendary coaches in NFL and the college ranks, they'll tell you sometimes you got to learn how to lose before you.
Yeah, and they have, and now they're getting the wins. And let's move to the game at hand. The Huskies in the Mid-Penn Keystone. They are 2-0, 4-1 overall. They traveled to Cedar Cliff, 2-3. I forgot to put a little dash there. 0-2 in the league. And the Colts, usually better than this. This is kind of a down year for them. But you also got to look at who they lost to. They lost to Shippensburg, a very good team. They're 4-1. And they lost to Bishop McDevitt, the number 2 team in the state in 4A, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And then the one I was surprised at is they lost to Hershey 21-20. So that's not sad sacks that they lost to. They're right. Good teams.
Almost definitely. But I think that the Huskies will be ready when they make that road trip. Sometimes they say you do a little bit better when you're on the road because you don't have all the hoopla like you did for homecoming last week. The kids might have been amped up a little bit too for last week's game. So, but I look for them to be focused and ready for the challenge.
Well, one thing we're going to see from Cedar Cliff is the pass.
Mm-hmm.
I saw some of their stats and tried to look at some of their stream stuff. They throw a lot. More than they do run. They have 2 runners, Preston Dent, Michael Jones, but together they've combined for 335 yards and only 1 touchdown. This is a passing team. They got a decent-looking sophomore quarterback, Bennett Sechrist. He has 489 yards passing and 7 touchdowns with 1 interception. And his main targets are Nathan Lusk, who wrestling people will know him. He is a wrestler. Lusk is 20 catches, 248 yards, and 3 touchdowns. And Daniel Schrader has only 4 catches. Listen to this, Kenny. 4 catches, 63 yards, 4 touchdowns.
It's crazy. Wow.
4 catches, 4 scores. So who do you think his long guy is?
I wonder.
Hey there, buddy.
Yeah, I'm here.
Hello?
Hello?
Kenny, can you hear me?
Yes.
Looks like we're having a connection problem.
Am I okay now? Am I back?
Can you hear me, Kenny?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Hello?
Oh.
Kenny, can you hear me? Uh, Hello? Kenny, can you hear me? Kenny Varner. Well, it looks like we lost Kenny here. We'll try to get him back on. Sorry for all this delay. Kenny, are you there, buddy?
Yep, I am here.
Okay, it seems that we had a little bit. I went on to check. We apologize for the people listening here. We had about 3 or 4 minutes with me going, Kenny, can you hear me? Kenny, can you hear me? We had a little bit of problems. We streamed live on Facebook and YouTube, and I got a message that we had a problem on on the Facebook end. But I was on, I believe, but I don't think you were.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry about me going, hey, Kenny, I should have just talked until you came back on. But I was talking about how they have a kid at Cedar Cliff, uh, Daniel Schrader, 4 catches, 63 yards, 4 touchdowns. I mean, 4 catches, 4 touchdowns, Kenny. You know who his long guy is.
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely.
So, what are your thoughts on this game on Mifflin County and Cedar Cliff?
I think it's going to be another close match. And I think that the Huskies are riding the wave right now of momentum. And after having such a bad game for them last week, I look for them to be sharp and pristine going into their game against Cedar Cliff. And if they can hold off that offense passing, I think they'll do well. And I look for them to come out with the 28-21 win.
Well, they have a balanced offense, Mifflin County. That's what I like about them. They can run, they can pass, they play solid defense, led by Reagan Ettinger, 51 tackles, 4 sacks on the year. Ettinger is, and I just Cedar Cliff. I think at the beginning of the year, people would have said, "Okay, Cedar Cliff's the favorite. We're going to have trouble down there." But I saw a Fourth Down magazine, the internet site. Fourth Down has them favored Mifflin County, and I agree with them. It's going to be it's going to be a close one because Cedar Cliff has played tough teams. But I'm with you. I'm going to give it to Mifflin County 23-20.
Ooh, close. Yes.
Let's move on. We had last week the State College Little Lions, number 4 in the state in 6A, improved to 5-0, a 19-8 win over Central Dauphin. Central Dauphin scored all 8 points in the fourth quarter. It wasn't as close as the score looked. CD was held to just 185 total yards. Deontay Sheffy, the superstar freshman running back, only 19 carries, but he had 108 yards and a 46-yard touchdown. And it was just another solid game for the number 4 team in the state. And, that showdown is looming with them in Harrisburg in the Mid-Penn Commonwealth.
Hmm. Well, I believe you had this one picked from the beginning too last week, if I'm correct. You had them both
Yes.
going away, winning.
Yeah, I mean, it looks close. If you see it's one of those ones where if you see the score and look at the box score, it's like, oh my God, 19-8.
Hmm.
That's close, but it really wasn't.
Yeah, and actually, that two quarterback system that they have of Finn Furmack and Owen Yurka seems to be working real well. Furmanek actually is one of the top receivers, believe it or not, even though he does have his time at quarterback.
Yeah, I know because I saw that they like to run a two-headed quarterback with Furmanek and Owen Yurka, and I got to be honest, it's working for him. Who far be it from me to tell Lintal, you know, how to coach because he's a lot better than I am. But I never liked two quarterback systems. Never in my entire life. Hate the things. High school, college, or pro.
Yeah, because the quarterback can never get really situated and comfortable in that position.
Right. The cadence is different.
Mm-hmm.
The way they, at the line of scrimmage, or well, most or they're in the shotgun anymore. But cadence is different. If you're being replaced like every other quarter or whatever, you can't establish rhythm.
Mm-hmm.
And it's working for them. Far be it from me, but I personally don't like it. But they keep winning.
Yeah, exactly. And they got a good one coming up. A nice easy. I won't say anything's easy in the mid pen, but look.
Yes, they got CD East,
Mm-hmm.
who are 2-3, 0-2 in the Commonwealth. Yeah, this is pretty much going to be State College. Uh, they have a pretty decent quarterback, East in Campbell, and their running back, Torrance Jackson Cottney, but
Mm.
no.
All right.
No,
Yeah.
they do not. No offense to CD East and that, and their coaches and that, but they don't stand a chance.
No, and the only thing that CD East has going for them is it's a road game for State College. They get them at home, and you never know what can happen at home. But I don't see this being close at all either.
Yeah, well, you're right. There's always injuries and stuff that you can't predict
Mm-hmm.
or foresee, but no. Too much going for them, State College. I mean, if they can hold CD to 185 yards, I don't see CD East doing that much, to be honest.
No, and I think that the second and third string will be in by the end of the.
Yeah, they're going to get some work because I think Lintal will call off the dogs probably after 2.5 quarters and put his reserves in.
Yeah, I think so too.
Score prediction. Go ahead.
I'm going big time. I'm going 55-0, State College.
Woo! No respect at all for them.
Uh,
I'm gonna give them a little bit of respect. I'm gonna go 45-7 State College, but it's gonna be a wipeout.
yeah,
A wipeout.
it's not disrespecting CD East so much as knowing that what State College has and
Yeah, they're loaded.
yeah.
They're loaded. They could be. They really could. They have the talent, the coaching, and the ability to be in the state finals.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're coming out of the West, you got Harrisburg there in their own conference. You always have to worry about Pittsburgh Central Catholic,
Mm-hmm.
but they could be at a 6A. They could.
Yep.
But they're going to beat CD. I have a better chance of winning People's Sexiest Man than CD East does against the Little Lions. All right, let's move on then. We got that last week, and they are really an undermanned team. Last year, they had to forfeit games because they didn't have enough players, and that's Halifax. And the Indians of Juniata destroyed them 55-0. 55-0. And wait till you hear this, Kenny. Juniata held Halifax to 48 total yards.
Wow, the Big Red defense is bad.
I agree, but it's also Halifax offense is no good. 48 yards total.
That's
And obviously, in that game, Kurt Kondo, the head coach, he was able to put reserves in, which is always good for next year, getting them play time, you know?
Oh yeah, definitely. And for later in the season, if something would happen that one of their starters went down, the backups have had plenty of time to get in there and feel comfortable.
Yeah. This one, they got I mean, there's nothing really to talk about. They had it from start to finish.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron Zeller had 80 yards on only 7 carries for 2 touchdowns, and then he was out of the game.
Mm.
And they preserved no injuries, thankfully, to their quarterback Aaron Kanegi.
Mm-hmm.
And so they escaped pretty much injury free with an easy one. And now they got Mid-Penn Liberty opponent James Buchanan comes up to Mifflin Town. They're 3-2, 2-0 in the conference, but the record is deceiving. James Buchanan, who, if you remember a couple of years ago, when they were in the Colonial with Mifflin County, asked to leave the Colonial. Do you remember that?
I remember that, but I forget why.
They're just getting killed.
Oh.
I mean, they were going 0-10 every year and getting beat like 60-0. So they built the program back up, moved down eventually now to Liberty, the Liberty Conference, which was created last year or 2 years ago. And they're 3-2. I give them credit. Hey, you still got to win what's on your schedule, but their wins were over York County Tech 1-4, Clear Spring, Maryland 0-4, and Halifax 1-4.
Mm.
Now they come up here with the Big Red, who's just got, pretty good balance. Waylon Aaron Zeller at running back, Kanegi at quarterback. They got Seth Laub and Jason Sheps, and I think it's Makih. Do you know how to pronounce that? Mackay?
Mackay. Yeah.
And then Caleb and Casey Smith. So they got good balance on offense, a solid line. Obviously, their defense holding people to 48 yards. They got a decent defense. I don't think James Buchanan has a prayer in this.
No, especially Juniata is coming on as well too. After a little bit of a slow start, they've been cranking the last couple of weeks, scoring against their opponent 100 and I believe 110 to I think maybe 0. I think they shut out Newport and I shut out Halifax. So, I look for them to keep the momentum going because they're hungry for another District 6 championship. They got a taste of it last year, and they lost a few, but some of the core is still there, especially like the Seth Laub. He's you do everything. You ask him to do something, whether it's catch a pass in the clutch, run it through the middle, get that extra 2 yards for the first down. He's going to give it to you. And Aaron Zeller's, the same way. I just see that there's not much of a chance for James Buchanan on a home game. And
since Kondo took over, it's a little bit of a new identity. I mean, the great legendary Gary Klingensmith was like, baby, I'm going to do like a wing tee, a modified wing tee, and I'm going to run. I'm going to run. And now there's more balance on Juniata.
Right.
You never used to have to worry about the pass before. Now, sometimes Gary would surprise everybody and, throw it. But most of the time it was 3 yards in a cloud of dust because he was, a Paterno mentor. When he went to Penn State, Paterno was his offensive coordinator.
Mm-hmm.
When Rip Engel was coaching. So it's a nice change of pace for the Indians to be passing too.
It is, and it's been working last couple of years. The results, like they say, the proof is in the pudding, and their season results have been awesome.
Yes, they have been 3-2 this year. They will go 4-2. What do you think the score is going to be?
Well, I believe it's homecoming weekend, if I'm correct, down there. So there's going to be a big crowd, and I see Juniata rolling 35-7.
Nice. I think it's going to be they're a little bit better than Halifax. I think it's going to be 48-14 Juniata. Now we come to a game that was interesting. Belfont and PO.
Oh yeah.
9-8. The Red Raiders. It wasn't an offensive explosion. It was only a 2 touchdowns scored, one by each team.
Mm-hmm.
Not really something that's going to go in the Hall of Fame as a fantastic game. But it was 2 evenly played teams, and obviously the defenses were working for a 9-8. I don't know if there was a lot of turnovers or not, but at least it was 2. They were be able to be competitive to each other. And if I'm not mistaken, is Dunmoyer a first year coach?
No, this is his second year. Yeah.
Okay. What did they do last year?
I believe they had a two-win season, I believe, last year.
Okay. So this is win number 3. So any win's good.
Right.
But you have any thoughts on the Belfont PO game?
Oh yeah, the game might not have been a pretty one, but the ending was quite exciting. I guess Phillipsburg, while they were trailing, they drove down deep into the Red Raiders territory, and the defense stood up for Belfont, and the Mounties were forced to go for a field goal. And the defense stood up once again and blocked it, saving the game and giving the win out for Belfont. So it ended excitingly, but you probably had to I wouldn't say suffer, but kind of go through go through all that 3 quarters to get to the fourth quarter where it really got exciting.
So that moved them both to 1-4, Belfont and PO. Belfont now gets in a non-conference match. As soon as I bring it up, they get 0-5 Hollidaysburg. The Golden Tigers struggling this year. 0-5, and sports up there are really struggling. Their wrestling team has trouble filling guys for the 13-man starters. It hasn't been good up there as far as sports goes.
Yeah, and this is their first year, I believe, in the Mountain League as well. They came over and replaced Central.
They did?
Pretty sure, yeah.
So this is a conference game then?
Yes, yep.
Okay, my mistake.
Oh, now so much has happened over the last couple months with teams going to different conferences and stuff. Like this is actually the last year for the Mountain League too. I didn't know if you knew that or not.
Yes, I did. I did know that the Mountain League was done.
Which is really sad because it's got a lot of history and.
Oh yeah. It came from the ashes of was it the Big 7 or the Big 8?
A Big 8, I believe.
The Big 8, yeah. But yeah, it's been around a long time. It is a shame, but they changed things,
Yeah.
I don't know. They're probably going to get like college and want these super conferences that are forming,
Yeah, because the high school usually follows what college does, maybe at a little slower pace, but they like to mirror them.
Okay, so we got this is going to be, from what I've seen and the stats I've looked at, it's going to be a passing game.
Mm-hmm.
Belfont mostly moves through the air with their quarterback Trevor Johnson,
right?
But also Hollidaysburg passes like crazy. Tucker Rossman, their quarterback, has thrown 116 times. 58 of 116, 730 yards, 5 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. And he's got a trio of receivers he goes through. Caden Delatry, 23 grabs, Nick Berkey, 12, and Gavin Bell, 11. and they're averaging 161 passing yards a game. So I don't know if you know about them or not, but it looks like it's going to be a passing attack for both teams.
Yeah, and the teams that here again, Hollidaysburg has a deceiving record too because they played such a tough schedule so far. They lost Altoona, then Allegheny, and then the big one, State College. They lost 45-3. Lost
True.
lost to Butler 40-20, and then Fort Hill 49-10. So there's some pretty tough teams in there, and Bellefonte just figured out. I mean, found a way to win, and with a young team, you know, they can use that momentum to carry them into the next game. And yeah, it's I'm looking for an upset here. I know I sound like a homer, but I believe that Bellefonte could get to 2 wins here and knock off Hollidaysburg 20-14.
Okay, I am going to go. Sorry if any Red Raider fans are listening. Hollidaysburg seems to have the better offense at moving the ball. I'm going to go Hollidaysburg getting their first win. It's going to be 17-14. Golden Tigers.
Nice.
Next, we move on to the Bald Eagle Area Eagles. Had a tough loss, 29-21 to to Montoursville. And Montoursville, this was incredible, Kenny. I saw this stat. Nagel, Bald Eagles quarterback Carson Nagel, was sacked 7 times, and Bald Eagle was held to negative 20 yards rushing.
Yeah, and I think he had negative 59 of it.
Yeah, negative 59 Nagel.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the sacks. In high school and college, the sacks come off your rushing yardage.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, but it was still a close game. Bald Eagle area, you know, Green can run. He's got 345 yards, but man, they like to throw. Nagel, mm-hmm. just a sophomore, 91 of 141, 1,064 yards, and 9 touchdowns.
Yeah, and despite being sacked so many times, he still ended up with a 7 for 24 night with 199 yards. So still got some production out of the passing game despite being sacked so many times.
Yeah, and those receivers he's got, Elliott Splain,
mm-hmm.
Cahill Burns, Cameron Watkins, just really, really solid receivers. I mean, and Nagel has set it up. You know, it's a spread pro set offense like most high schools are going.
Mm-hmm.
I hit my button. I'm sorry. We're still at Montoursville, Bald Eagle area, and but yeah, so he really, really does have a solid passing attack. But Green has 345 yards rushing. They you know, a line can get used to so much. You know, if you're a passing team, it can get used to passing so much that they need work at run blocking, and that's what, you know, they need to really improve their run. You can't have negative. They're 2-3, which is not bad. You're still halfway through the season to go, but you can't have negative 20 yards. And I know a lot of that was the sacks, right, but you can't have that and expect to beat people.
Well, they try to use a lot of counters too off that passing game, fake, and then also quarterback keeps. And if that's not working for them, then they don't have another option really. The line's just not there for them, at least not so far this year. They've had struggles when it comes to going, you know, right up the middle.
But you know, their defense isn't bad. Watkins has 4.5 sacks. Green has 49 tackles, leading the team. What are your thoughts on the defensive side of the ball for the Eagles?
Oh, they have a very opportunistic defense. They're in the backfield of the opponents. That's been one of the shining things for the Eagles this year is their defense. They've been getting down at times, and the defense was able to bring them back or give them that extra big play or sack or an interception when he needed it. And the 2 wins that they've had, that relied on the defense to help give them that.
Well, now this week it's Eagle against Golden Eagles, and they have to face a toughie. I forgot to put it on the slide there. They face the Tyrone Golden Eagles, ranked 9th in the state in AAA, 5-0, 3-0 in the conference. Bald Eagles 2-3, 2-1, and Tyrone is back.
Oh yeah,
you knew it wasn't going to take that long for them to come back. They have a tradition, they have a history, and here they are, 5-0, state ranked. We're used to that.
Mm-hmm.
And they get a nice balance. They pass and run. Ashton Walk, another sophomore quarterback. It'll be the battle of the 2 sophomores, Nagel and Walk. Walk is 45 of 95, 735 yards, 12 touchdowns, only 2 interceptions.
Pretty impressive.
Isn't it? Isn't it impressive?
It is.
And then they got Colton Miller and Seth Hoover are their running backs. It's a 2-headed backfield. Ross Gampy, I hope I'm saying the name right. Andrew Weaver and Deegan Baldoff are their receivers. And you know Tyrone. They always have, for being such a small school in District 6, they always have big linemen.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw a couple looking at the roster and seeing some film, big linemen. I don't know. They must grow them up there.
They might.
What are your thoughts on this game?
I think it's going to be closer than what the 2 records show. Bald Eagle is still on the upstart, and they won against Penn Valley. It was like that moment where this young team turns to a veteran team. They lost to a tough Montoursville team, but I think that they're going to be at home. They're going to be in front of the crowd, and I think that they are going to pull off a 28-7 win and knock Tyrone to the 1.
Here's the thing. Tyrone's defense, okay? I didn't really look at their schedule of who they're playing, but they've outscored their opponents 157-25. And I'm not good at math, but I do know that that's 5 games, 25 points is only 5 points a game.
And that's a schedule. Like they played Bellwood, Anna, Brookville, Phillipsburg, Belfont, and then Huntington. They got past 14-6 last week.
Yeah, Bellwood is usually traditional too. That's their big rivalry that they play at the beginning of the season every year. But Braden Ewing at defensive tackle, not huge for defensive tackle, 5'11", 240. He'll be a defensive end if he gets recruited in college. 31 tackles. This is the crazy part. 15 tackles for loss and 7 sacks.
He must be a
crazy good
nightmare.
Quick off the line, he is, and playing that defensive tackle spot. You know, you get a quick guy in there with some power and that, and able to rush, and that's something special right there. I'm looking at, sorry, Bald Eagle, and that's where I went to school. Sorry, graduated from. 35-14, Tyrone is going to win that game. All right, moving on. Penns Valley had a toughie. They went against the Clearfield Bison. Clearfield won 42-14. The Rams, you know, it's like the Bison built up this huge lead. They were up 35-6 at the half. And it's pretty hard to come back from that.
Most definitely.
But Penns Valley, another one, junior quarterback Jackson Romig. A lot of these players, you know, it used to be run. Now you're seeing quarterbacks throwing the ball
Mm-hmm.
in this new wave offense, spread offenses. Romig, 789 yards, 8 touchdowns. The stud on the team, Ty Watson Jr., 462 yards rushing, 10 touchdowns, 11 catches for 122 yards and a touchdown. And then you got Miles Brooks, 29 catches, 6 touchdowns. Gannon Kerstetter, 11 catches. So pretty nice balance with Penns Valley between the pass and the run.
Almost definitely. Tom Watson has also come up huge on defense for the Rams as well.
This week, they go against the Mounties of Phillipsburg. Phillipsburg, who we just covered not that long ago, suffered the 9-8 loss to Bellefonte. Now they have to get another Center County team, the Rams, 3-2, 2-2 in the Mountain League. Phillipsburg 1-4, 0-4 in the league. And we already talked about Phillipsburg. How do you see this game, the outlook of it, what's going to happen?
Well, I know after the Bald Eagle game that the Eagles topped the Rams. They weren't too happy. I'm sure after last game, they weren't very happy as well. So the worst thing that Phillipsburg can go up against angry Penns Valley, and I think get it over and get their offense working. Another blowout. 40-6.
Well, I know Penns Valley, they rushed the passer really well. They got 10 sacks on the year. PO basically has no passing at all. They have to they run the ball and they alternate all different kinds. 4 backs, Sam McDonald, Dayton Barger, Ben Gutsky, and Jacoby Jones. Jones. They're only averaging 46 yards a game passing with 155 rushing. I think you know what they're going to do. They're going to try to play ball control, keep Penns Valley's offense off the field, and try to establish the run. I don't think it's going to happen, and I think Penns Valley is going to come out with the win, and I'm going to say it's going to be 41-7. What do you think?
Pretty close.
Yeah, I mean, it is. It's going to be, crazy. Yeah. But another week of high school football coming, which is great. And also coming, want to bring that up, the PressBoxPA.com. It'll be Kenny and I's website. We'll have the PressBox podcast, not only on the Facebook Central PA Sports Facebook page and our PressBox YouTube page. We're going to have it on the website, too. We're also going to have columns, features. Starting in the winter, we're going to experiment with streaming some wrestling and maybe some basketball, get our feet wet in that. And we're going to have this site up soon, the PressBoxPA.com. And sorry, tried to book a guest tonight. Nobody could make it with practicing and stuff. So we'll try to get somebody on next week. But another week of high school football, it's always fun. Always fun, Kenny.
No, it has been. And this year has been great because, with the exception of the first game, there's been no rain.
Yeah, I know. Had good weather here, and we will be back next Thursday, same time, 5 o'clock, and we will be covering what happened on week 5 and get you ready for week 6. So there we go. The rundown again, Mifflin County travels to Cedar Cliff. State College goes to CD East. James Buchanan comes to Juniata. Hollidaysburg visits Bellefonte. Bald Eagle area goes to Tyrone. Penns Valley is up at Phillipsburg. Once again, I apologize for losing Kenny there, and I thought we were completely off. So people are going to watch the stream and go, what's this idiot doing? Kenny, for like a solid minute or two. But I thought we were both off, Kenny, and it was just you.
Oh.
So I was going, I was going Kenny, Kenny, Kenny for about a minute or two.
Well, what usually happens on stuff like that is my phone freezes whenever there's a Penn State game coming up. Anytime from Thursday on to Sunday, my connection is touchy.
Well, I'm going to try to edit that out, but once again, we want to thank you for the response we've gotten from the Press Box podcast on Wednesdays and from the high school football show. This is our second show. We appreciate it. We thank you, and we'll continue to come up with new ideas to make the show better. And if you have any suggestions, drop us a line at the Press Box. Yes, we have our own web email now. The Press Box. Oh my God. Kenny, I forgot the email. I got to look it up. The Press Box. $99.21. Sorry, people. Wow. The Press Box 9921 at gmail.com. And just drop us a line if you have any ideas, suggestions, or anything off the top of your head. Let us know, or post it on the Central PA Sports Facebook site. So, any last words, Mr. Varner?
I just wish all the local teams good luck tomorrow, and hopefully be healthy and happy Friday. And thank you guys for listening, and I appreciate it. And we'll talk to you later.
And where are you going to tomorrow?
I am heading to homecoming for Bellefonte.
All right. Well, enjoy the game.
Oh, thank you. Definitely will.
All right. That's going to wrap it up once again. Sorry for a little bit of the technical difficulties, but you've been listening to the high school football show, the Press Box High School Football Show. And thank you, everybody. And we will see you again next week.
Night, everybody.